Okay.
Welcome, and thank you for listening to the Sales Maven Show. I'm your host, Nikki Roush, your own personal sales maven, here to offer you tips and strategies and techniques to master your sales conversations. Today's episode is an on-air coaching call with one of our amazing and brilliant and just absolutely one-of-a-kind Sales Maven Society members. It's Nicole Smith Levay. Welcome to the show, friend.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Nikki. You have been a game changer in my life, and I'm honored to be here with you. Hello,
Oh,
everyone.
thank you. Tell everybody a little bit about you and your business and the way that you work with your clients.
Yes, so I am a transformational retreat leader and somatic coach, and I help high achieving women stop overgiving on autopilot and put themselves and their soul work first. We do this through an amalgamation of somatics, breath work, and meditation. We help women really reclaim their energy, revitalize their spirit, and resurrect the work that they're meant to do in the world.
I
And
love that.
yeah, thank you. Often I meet women through various speaking engagements I will be doing, just bringing wellness more into career spaces, but also I host occasional workshops, at a yoga studio or pretty much anywhere folks will have me come and talk about the power of embodiment and
Mhm.
our ability to really work with our moods and our thoughts through becoming aware of our breath.
I love that so much. And you also have a group coaching program, is that right?
I do, yes. It's called Forward Momentum, and it's been running for about a year and a half now. It's really amazing mix of women from different backgrounds, but what they all have in common is what I've mentioned so far. Um, Women who are in corporate, but you've got like a side hustle going and their plan is to transition and leave corporate, but of course as they're pursuing what they love, their passions on top of their 9 to 5, like they're feeling overwhelmed. They're like, okay, I could do it all, but like this is not fun. I need a little bit of support and some
Mhm.
clarity around like how I'm using my energy. And then also um, entrepreneurial women who are looking to build their wellness businesses a bit more. I've been doing this for 10 years now. So, although, yeah, my background is more as a professional movement artist and movement professional teacher, um, then I became certified in yoga and meditation and got a counseling degree and the coaching certification. I think just in the life lessons of running a business for a decade, particularly in this kind of yoga wellness niche, a lot of women do find that I help them, take their businesses from year 1 to 3 to 4 to 7 a little bit more smoothly, helping them scale, let go of the baggage,
Mhm.
and call in more aligned work and clients in the process.
I absolutely love the way that you just phrased that because I do think in business that you reach these certain levels where you realize like something's got to give or something's got to change. I know I've hit those a few times over the years in my business, and so having somebody like you that somebody can go to and really focus on like what is the work I am meant to do, what's the work I feel called to do, and how can I use my energy, like you said, to attract the right clients and focus my attention, efforts, all of those things in that way. I just absolutely think that is such an important piece. And I don't know if a lot of us know that there's somebody like you out there, that there's somebody who can help focus that type of attention. And I love the idea of breath work. I haven't done a lot with breath work other than I actually did a breath work thing before I did the like ice bucket thing
Yeah,
one
yeah,
time.
they often go together. Yeah.
And I will say it was very interesting. I feel like it's like learning to be really present in your body and then to
Yes.
use it in that, in that environment where you step in and sit down into a huge bucket of ice
Uh-huh.
water. Uh, and to be able to like think about what's going on with my breath. And since that happened, I think about my breath way more over the last couple years just from that.
I know. Yeah. I mean, you said it perfectly about feeling present in your body because that's really like the indicator of so much. Like when we can slow down and get curious instead of just like kind of ramming ahead from our thoughts or from our willpower or from our old patterning, it's like, well, no, if we really want to make the changes we say we want to make in our life and we want to have more time, more grace, more ease, more harmonious relationships, then I can't keep acting in autopilot. I need to pause. I need to check in with my body. I need to go, what's going on here? And a lot of times we might notice there may be an irregularity in our breathing. And so it's a simple thing just to learn how to um, exhale and inhale more deeply. We're all breathing, right? If you're listening to this
Yeah.
podcast, you're breathing. So, there are various techniques that if you're looking for more calmness, you'll use that. I like to think of our emotions and mental states as directional. So say like you're feeling like very kind of anxious or like lots of thoughts, busy mind. Like, I mean, just think about that. Like if we're pretending for a second, it's like a trickling upward. So I often will use, just to very simplify it, breathing techniques and movements that are more downward, right? Yoga is really about the yoking of opposites. So it's like, what if I invited in the opposite force and how could I come back to the center? And then kind of oppositely, if you are feeling a lack of creativity, of possibility thinking, you're feeling kind of like sluggish and shut down, I may invite more kind of like expansive, upward, energizing breathing, or just increasing the inhalation because you want to kind of call in more support. Like you're running on an empty tank at that point and you need to
Mm-hmm.
refuel. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I love that. And can we talk just a minute about your retreats too? Because I feel like you're doing these phenomenal retreats in these amazing places. Will you tell us a little bit more about like what does a retreat with Nicole look like?
Yeah, of course. I would be happy to. So it's really, I mean, the definition of the word retreat is to kind of like pull away from, right? So it's keeping up with this theme of like, how do we stop the autopilot things that we're doing? How do we draw inward and kind of make space for ourselves and clarify what's going on? So I have two themes that I run often over the past decade in different locations. So for instance, in 2 weeks, we're going to Santorini and Crete. And the one theme that we're doing there is called Connect with Source Energy. So it's just about like, again, being really present with ourselves, with
Mhm.
what we were born to do, who we were born to be, and because we're doing it in Santorini and Crete, and there's so much Greek mythology there, I will be weaving in some of the mythology and some of the archetypes of, the gods and goddesses, right?
I
But when
love
I did
that.
connect with Source Energy, say 3 years ago in upstate New York is beautiful in the summer and it is such a creative haven for artists and musicians and all this. So we really went through just like various creative exercises. We went to Art Oh My, we danced under the moonlight. Like we really just did a real artistic take on Connect with Source Energy and how that is part of our creativity as well. And then the other one is Earth Medicine Magic, or Elemental Medicine Magic. I change it up and just learning to work with the elements, how we're all made of elements. We all have, more kind of rooted earthy qualities, more airy, creative qualities, watery, fluid, emotional, and recognizing that we need all of them. All those parts
Mhm.
are important. And like recognizing both our strengths and also the places where we may feel a little underdeveloped or vulnerable. And like, that's okay. We're going to be in a safe space with other women who are going through the same process.
Fantastic. Fantastic. So cool what you do. And what a treat for somebody to get to experience either a retreat or even just a private session with you, which I know is an option too. So
Just
let's
recently because
okay.
just because of our work together. Yeah, it was like a year and a half of me being really earthy and stubborn in myself and being like, I only do the group program. I only do the group program. But recently I've invited back a handful of private clients and it's been so amazing. And to have them in my I live in New Jersey and I have a home office on the ground floor. There's just the home office and the bathroom. So it's wonderful. People park right on the street. They walk in, they have a great somatic breathwork session or coaching or consulting, and then they go about their day. So it's awesome.
Perfect. That's
Yeah.
perfect. I'm glad you're doing that. I'm proud of you for putting yourself in the position to try something and then finding how fulfilling that has been for you and also for the client too. That's fun. It's really fun. Okay. This really is a coaching session for you. So my question is, how can I be of service today?
Yeah, that's what you've helped me with the most is moving through my resistance or fears of doing things or making changes or, yeah, following up, asking. I think what's been coming up recently is that yeah, this way that I market retreats, I have to give credit to Paloma Newman. I believe it's been so long. I've been doing it the same way since 2019. But she taught me this in hosting a successful retreat. And I mean, it worked. What's the saying? Like gangbusters, like in
Hmm.
2019. I mean, so here is how it goes. Um, there's like a VIP inner circle window where there is a special pricing for folks who are, would love to come to this and or you think they would, you hope they
Uh-huh.
would, you'd love them to come and you
Yes.
privately message them, offer them like kind of an early bird price with a little bit of a bonus. Then there is a second phase where it's general early bird pricing, which is quite common in the yoga wellness industry. And then after, a couple weeks up to a workshop or several months up to a retreat, there would just be, regular full price.
Hmm.
So I've been doing this since 2019. And yes, it feels right and in integrity with retreats. It helps me kind of control revenue month to month, therefore income, and I can see how many things I'm launching and I've got the digital programming and the retreat. So I have to kind of like yin yang, like balance that.
Hmm.
The thing is recently when I've used that same sort of formula with digital programming, it hasn't felt as effective or I feel like now I'm the person that helps people not over effort and suddenly like I'm over efforting in my launches. So I don't
Hmm.
know if it's the launch piece or if it is the pricing structure of that, but I don't know. You help me with everything like that. So I thought I would bring it up here.
Okay, well, I love the question, and we'll see if I can offer something that would
Sure.
be really valuable for you here. So, one of the things that I I did something similar to this a few years back in my business, probably maybe before 2019, but definitely around between 2017 and 2020, where there was that like inner group. They got like first dibs on things, they got special pricing on things. And that worked back then. I don't find that it works now.
Mm,
And so the other thing that I have found is that I can no longer anticipate or predict
mm.
who are going to be the takers on something. As a
Yeah,
matter of
you
fact,
told me that the
I
one day. You
I
were
am
like, "Why
so
are you trying to
surprised.
guess? You have a whole list of 1,000 people. Like, what? Why
Yes.
are you only sending it to 10?" Yeah.
Yeah. And so my thought is it's totally fine for you to have tiers, right? And it's like and actually I love the idea of doing something let's say that there was a sequence attached to this like a rollout and a launch and there's like an email sequence to it. And you could test this. I actually tested this last year and it actually worked pretty good. Um where I did the very first message that went out around it was, um, the first X number of people that buy today get something extra. And that actually did spur people who often wait,
Wait.
right?
Yes.
To take some action. And that was pretty exciting. And then I just stripped it away from the next message. So if you didn't see the first message, you weren't feeling like, oh, I'm missing out now because you probably didn't see it. And also, there's a little bit of learning how to train your buyers of what they can expect from you.
Mm-hmm.
And so I love to reward action takers. You know, I say this a lot, implementers get results. I love, love, love to work with implementers. And I find that a lot of times my implementers are the people who buy right away.
Mm-hmm.
They're the people who they're like, I'm on it. I'm going to make this work. I'm going to take action on this. And so that may or may not work in your business, but that might be the way for you to still be able to offer these extra promotions or this extra bonus or this whatever the extra thing is, and still promote the early bird and the like, 2 weeks left before the workshop or the retreat or whatever. But again, trying to predict who those buyers are going to be.
Mm.
Like I used to be able to make a list and say, like, here's the 40 people who I think would be awesome for this offer. Like it feels like it's an ideal fit for their business. And then I send out the message to the 40 people and I get one sign up. And then I take that same offer and I send it to my full list. And the people who sign up for it, oftentimes I'm like, what? This person was like, I know this person. They weren't even on my list of 40 because I didn't think this was the right thing. But that's me projecting. So I worry that that might be what you're doing a little bit is,
Mm-hmm.
I get like wanting to be strategic in your decisions and in your thought process, but there is something about trying to predict
Yeah.
who your buyers are going to be. And I'm sure you've heard me say this. I always say like you're trying to hit the trifecta when you put an offer out. It's the right offer to the right buyer at the right time. And the thing about that is you don't know what the right time is for each person because there's things going on in their life you have no control over.
Yeah.
There's things going on in their life they have no control over, right? Or maybe something has just happened that has allowed them to go, you know what? I'm fed up enough. Like I need to focus on me right now. And they get an offer from you and they're like, oh, Nicole, this offer, I needed this today.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so in because I'm so fed up with the way my life has been going or the way my business has been going. So I want to caution you from trying to make those assumptions and kind of judgments because you may actually be leaving opportunity on the table for your business, but more importantly, there might be some people who are missing out on the advantage that they're going to get and the benefits that they're going to get from getting to work with you because that promo, that special like VIP type offer wasn't given to them. And yeah, so I want to I want to say like just put it out there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fine, even if you want to give, if you want to give your inner circle people like one day to say yes to something and you say, like, this is your day, you get first, this is the day.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that'll cause some of them to take action. I do know from working with you that a lot of your people are like, I'm in. And then crickets. And then now we're in this follow-up mode with them of like, hey, what happened? You said you were in. I'm signing up today. And then it's like, whoa, hey, what happened? Right. So I think maybe you want to be careful about training your buyers of like, well, I get all this extra time. And now, like you're saying, you're putting in more effort, you're over giving
Right.
because now you're trying to track these people back down and go like, hey, this special VIP inner offer expires,
Mm-hmm.
today you've had a week. You said you were in like last 7 days ago, now you're doing all this follow up. So that concerns me for you from an effort standpoint.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I think that part of what's wrapped in this is some element of control, like that I have more control over who's the right fit for these, like
Mm.
the high ticket offers, like the retreat and the group program, or like a private coaching package. But maybe that means it's just a mismatch of like strategy to offer, right? But like maybe this strategy of like kind of what you're saying, like just blasting it out to everyone as a, kind of special for a day or two, and then the early bird, whatever, like that could be better matched with something that's more of like a lead generating, like low ticket
Mm-hmm.
engagement, build, trust builder. And I don't really do that. And I think that could help, because yeah, that's the other thing, is it always goes back to, is it just that I have not grown my list enough over 10 years, just kind of doing local things here and there, or a talk here and there. Um, but yeah, that's a whole nother conversation, not discounts.
Well, well, something I would encourage you to be thinking about too is that, and this totally makes sense, like you're saying, like on a workshop or something that's more kind of that like first step with you, because a lot of times it is really about, increasing lifetime value of clients. And you have to get people to pay you some money before they're going to pay you that next bit of money and do that next thing with you and then the
Yeah.
next thing, right? And so, I have this in my business too. Like I have continuous repeat buyers, which I love because I love these people. But at some point, I also have to make sure that I'm giving opportunity for people to get that first
Hmm.
touch, whatever that is, so that they can either get ready or get, comfortable with me or whatever that is, to then take that next thing. And so in order for you to continue to fill your retreats, right, which are the higher ticket offers, and for you to be selective as to who gets to go on those, and have the ability to put some kind of an application or some kind of criteria in place before they're eligible to participate in the retreat, we got to get more like people in the door of that starting out piece so that you have a bigger pool to pick from, and also they're more likely
Hmm.
to say yes, right? Like I have certain people, if I put an offer out, like there's a, probably a 50 to 75% chance they're going to buy it. Like it doesn't really even matter what it is. They seem to just say like, I'm in because I want to do this with Nikki, which is awesome. But at some point, those people will also filter themselves out because things will change in their life or their business. Or so that's what I'm thinking about for you too, is that we got to keep this kind of fresh. And maybe it's not that you need a ton of people. So it might not even be, I mean, yes, I want you to continue to grow your list, but it's like, how can we put a really great offer in front of people that allows them to kind of dip their toe in the water and say, like, I want to test this with Nicole and see what this is about? Because then they might go, and now I want the next thing and the next thing. And now I'm ready for the retreat.
I've had such great success with one-off events in person in New Jersey. But I also lived in California at one point, so I have folks from both places from that experience. Like when they come to a live event and they do a little bit of all of these things that I've mentioned, somatics, breathwork, and meditation, and it's aligned with a theme, and they walk away taking home something that helps them in their day-to-day lives, just feel calmer and more joy and able to breathe a little deeper. I have not in the longest time done something like virtually that's as comprehensive. And I think maybe that's what's coming to me in our conversation. Like my
Okay.
body's like, okay, before we launch Forward Momentum again, or before, like everybody's already voting on next year's, it's like, Sedona and Montana. I totally thought that my people would like Sedona hands down, but it's an even tie. So then when I'm in Montana, I'm gonna come bother you where you are, because I'm not often in that part of the country. Anyway,
I love it.
yeah, I think I need a little something before I relaunch those. That's like a 6 week something, like where they do get that FaceTime with me. They do get to practice these tools and skills. Yeah. And I don't have that currently, but that's something to work on.
Or just, yeah, I love this idea for you. And also, is there an opportunity for somebody to experience some of like maybe you pull out, if you think about what's happening at those retreats and
Mhm.
these ahas, these like really transformational moments for people, is there a way to pull one or two of those out and give that experience to somebody in a mini retreat, right? Like it could be a mini virtual retreat that's done in a half day or something. Again, it's just that like getting that benefit that allows them to go, man, if I got this kind of result from having this experience with Nicole in a virtual setting, I just, I'm just like so anxious to get to the live event and see what's possible,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, for
looking
sure.
for opportunities to give people that taste, that exposure, that like experience, like you said, right? So that whether it's Montana or Sedona or wherever, Greece or
Momentum.
wherever the
Yeah.
next
Yeah.
major, thing that you're doing, that people are like, I'm so there. Like I want that experience. And I mean, there is something really special about in person. I know that to be true too, as much as I am so over traveling from all my years of doing it. But when I go on my own, as a coaching client of somebody's and go to a retreat, there's just the
Mm.
value of it is
Mhm.
just amazing. So I get the value of it, but I also know that, sometimes I have to be exposed to somebody and get a little taste of their work before I'm willing to get on a plane and go hang out with them.
Mhm. Mhm. Or invest in, yet another program. I think sometimes people get a little bit burned out on trying things virtually and all that that's entailed in that. But I think if you, yeah, I don't do enough lead generation. Twice a year I'll have a workshop and I'll be like, that's it. So I think, is it you or someone else that says we're always doing lead generation or we're always like, it should be more frequently. And I think I
Yeah.
overthink it a little bit. Yeah,
Yeah. So maybe giving yourself grace around it. And maybe if you're doing two a year, maybe can we add a third or a fourth,
for
right?
sure.
Like could you double it and give people that
Yeah.
opportunity to experience you in your work, the breath work, like I would suspect that there's a lot of people who have never done any kind of breath work and
Hmm.
yet may be very interested in like testing it out and seeing what's possible, because to be fully present in your body, I don't think, at least, I mean, I learned this through my studies around NLP. I didn't realize how often I wasn't fully present in my body. Like I didn't know the difference.
Yeah.
Right. And so if somebody doesn't know the difference, they have to experience the difference in
The
order for them to
difference.
go,
Absolutely.
I want to get better at this. I want to work on this.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, that relief. And yeah, it's amazing. And I know, I mean, like I know the pain of being so far removed from that, like college, high school. I mean, that's what took me down the path of psychology. I was alternating between panic attacks and depression. So like I understand it personally very well,
Hmm.
besides helping people who are going through that. So yes, they do need, it can't all be talk, it can't all be information. Like I'm not one that like sending out a PDF is, I feel like they have to have some sort of lived change experience in the moment to continue onward checking things
Hmm.
out. Yeah.
Hmm. Agree. Agree. All right. This was fun. I'm excited to see what you do from here. And
Mhm.
I want to again encourage you to just be willing to give people the opportunity to work with you. And if
Yeah.
that means some kind of a special offer for somebody who's like, I've seen one of these from Nicole before and I haven't taken her up on it, but this one I'm so in, I'm going to say yes to this. And, because the other thing is, gosh, you get to work with the coolest people, right? I'm imagining. And I don't
Yeah.
know if you're like me. I love my clients so much and I'm so
Mhm.
inspired by being around them. And I suspect you probably get that same experience and you want to continue to give people opportunities
Yeah.
to see what's possible for them in their life, but also to feed your soul because you're doing the work that you know you're meant to do. Right.
Exactly. That's what it's
Okay.
about. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I've been so surprised through the years where, you know, my favorite folks now, like how we met and what pathway that was. So
Yeah.
just got to keep going with it.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. All right. As we wrap up, I always like to ask two questions. The first one is, what is one skill you've learned from being in this society that has benefited you and your business?
I have two skills.
Okay. Perfect.
um, yeah, one is not being afraid to try new things. I feel like you model that so well as a coach.
Thank you.
And so yeah, when the famine fears hit of like, oh, maybe I didn't plan this out well enough and I'm gonna have like a hard month or something, it's like, oh no, like we can try something new. we can. So I've had great success and just a revitalization of, business after 10 years. So I really appreciate that, as well as the skill of not being afraid to follow up. I know there are situations where maybe there's a handful of folks who I've trained that I'm going to follow up a lot, but it's a handful. Um, Overall, I think before meeting you, I immediately thought if someone didn't respond to a first message or said they were interested but then didn't sign up, like, I will be annoying. I will be like, they won't like me if I follow up, and you've just like completely obliterated all of that, and then it's really like an act of service, and people are busy and it's not about you, and like, don't take it personally, all those things that I knew on some level, but working with you has just, yeah, it's helped my business, but it's helped me help more people too.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for saying that. And you have done such a great job. You ask so many great questions, and I really appreciate that about you. And you are willing to take action, which is like that's the best thing ever is to work with somebody who is willing to go, okay, it's not what I would normally do, but I'm willing to just test this out and try and see what happens. And then you come back and report, which I also really appreciate. Like, okay, Nikki, I got paid, or the person signed up, or the person finally said, like, this is why I'm not responding or whatever. Like, I just love
Yeah.
that you are willing to ask a question, go implement, and then come back and share results. And I know that the other members of the group really appreciate that about you too.
Oh, thank
So
you.
thank
Yeah,
you.
I love how it's helped me, you know, lean into my own growth resistance, in the way that I encourage my clients. But like, actually, if I'm not doing that myself with my coach, it's hard to hold the energy for others doing that. So it's
Yeah.
been really key. Yeah.
You walk your talk, that's for sure.
Thank
All right,
you.
last question. How can people get a hold of you? What's the best way?
Beautiful. Well, very active on Instagram, Nicole Smith Levay, spelled out like it will be in the show notes.
Yes,
I'm there every day. And you'll see in the link tree, there's, some freebies like a somatic boundary meditation. But would you and Melissa be able to put that in the show notes for them, maybe?
absolutely.
Okay, great.
Absolutely. Tell
Yeah.
tell them a little bit about what it is.
So the somatic boundary meditation just helps you kind of feel into where you may be overextending yourself in
Mm,
various relationships, behaviors, thought patterns, and it just gives you kind of like movement meets energy healing and breathing exercise to go like, hey, how near or far do I actually want this bit from me and my life energy? Yeah.
awesome. Thank you. That is a really generous gift. And we will put the link in the show notes. So
Awesome.
go grab that. So check that out. Like what what a great opportunity to spend a few minutes or however long it is and learn something about yourself and get really present. I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you for who you are. Thank you for the work that I, get the privilege to do with you. Thank you for the work that you're doing in the world to make the those of us, the women in the world, more present and be able to fulfill their life purpose. I think that is a true gift. So I appreciate you being here. So thank you.
And I appreciate that you are one of the only business coaches that I've worked with in 10 years who really walks her talk as far as, you know, doing all of this from the heart of service, really humanistically. I mean, you're the real deal. So we're so grateful for you. And yeah, this was fun today.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
And for you, the listener, thank you so much for being here. I hope that there was some little nugget in there, or maybe you got inspired by something that Nicole said, or inspired by not making assumptions about who's the right person for your offers and being willing to put your offers and yourself out there because people need you. Thank you for listening. If you feel inspired to share this episode, I'd be so grateful. And I'm sure Nicole and I would love to hear what was your biggest takeaway from today's episode. I am wishing you continued success in all that you're doing. Thank you so much and have a great rest of your day.